there! In this video we're going to talk about time signatures. While I'm sitting at the piano today, it doesn't really matter. You can do this on any instrument and it's for any type of sight reading or music that you're going to read off the page. So this is a basic introduction to time signatures. If it's a review for you, great. If it's new and you have lots of questions, leave those all down below for me and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. To get started, a time signature tells us how we count when we play our notes. You probably notice that it looks a little bit like a fraction. We have a number on the top and we have a number on the bottom. And when we're playing, we need to keep track of both of those numbers because they tell us important things. The top number tells us the number of counts we get. So if it's a 4, we get 4 counts in the measure. If it's a 3, we get 3 counts in our measure. The bottom note, we can treat it like a denominator or the bottom of a fraction. It tells us what type of note is counting our counts. So if it's a 4, it would be a quarter note. Remember, quarter has a 1 on the top and a 4 on the bottom, so quarter note. If it's an 8 on the bottom, it's an eighth note that's doing our counting. If it's a 2, it's a half note. Most often in beginning music, you're going to see 4 or quarter note making the counts. But soon you'll start seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. Any number is possible in the bottom so long as it has a note associated with it. The top number might also change. You could have 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. The numbers are endless, but in beginning music, we're typically going to stick to 2, 3, and 4 as our top numbers, or our numerators for our counting. So we're either going to get 2 counts, 3 counts, or 4 counts. Let's look at 4/4, also known as common time. It can be denoted with a music letter C, or you can have the 4/4 written on top of it. The reason it's called common time is it is the most common time signature to use. In 4/4 time, we get 4 counts as our top number, and the quarter note is counting our counts for us. So if we were playing, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And every time we start a new measure, we break that with the line up and down to separate our notes so it makes it easier for us to count. And we could have half notes, 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to start a new measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can have a dotted half note and a quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start a new measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. The possibilities are endless. You can get larger or smaller notes, but they always have to add up to 4 full counts in 4/4 time. You can have eighth notes in 4/4. It just means that you're going to need 8 of them to fill 4 counts because each one gets a half. In 3/4 time, we feel it a little bit differently. You're only getting 3 counts on the top. And our quarter note is still counting, so we're only going to get 3. Our whole measure could be a dotted half note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, separated by those measure lines. Or we can have 3 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3/4 is typically associated with waltzes and other types of dances because it's very lilty and you move back and forth and it has a very strong sense of rhythm to it. We could talk about 2/2, which is something we probably haven't talked about before. And what that is 2 counts, because 2 is our top note, but the bottom note's also 2, so that means the half notes making the count. So we only get 1, 2, then we start a new measure, 1, 2, new measure. Or you could put 2 quarter notes, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But our half note's making the basic count. And that's called cut time. And you see that same 4/4 signature or the same C, but now it has a slash through it because we've cut it in half. Cut time is 2/2 and common time is 4/4. So each one of those has a different feel to it, even though technically you could make the same number of counts. And the reason that we do that is because of what we call pulses. or how heavy our beats are. So in 4/4, we would feel strong, weak, medium, weak. So what I'm talking about is how we feel those pulses as we go through our measure. Typically, we will feel a strong beat right as our first count in a measure, and then we'll feel a weak beat, and then if there's more counts, we'll feel a medium beat. It's not quite as strong as the first one, and then another weak beat. And then you might have a series of those going through your measure. But in 4/4, what you're going to have to remember is it's strong, weak, medium, weak, strong, weak, medium, weak, strong, weak, medium, weak. And that gives it a very different feel from if we were in 2/2, where we just have strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. And the reason 2/2 feels different is because it's much more like a march. We only have those 2 counts. It's like walking. It feels faster even if it isn't. So 2/2 is typically used for faster songs, marches where you want it to really feel like it's clipping along and moving really quickly, and 4/4 is used if you want something that's a little more relaxed and you have more space to explore notes within one measure. In 3/4, it's a little different because we don't have an even number of beats in our measure. So we don't go strong, weak, medium, strong, weak, medium. What happens is we have strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak. And that happens because of the way the beat falls and the way we feel it when it's played. And that's why we get this very 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Our one's still strong like in every other time signature, but because there's an odd number, it doesn't feel right to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That would feel very awkward. So we keep it as a strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak. And that's how you get that feel for each of the different time signatures. So in review,